Welcome, guys, to another edition of Word on the Street. My name is Kostile Sohongwane, and I'm gonna be your host as always. And I'm live on Facebook, and I'm recording from my YouTube channel as well, Word on the Street. Today, we're gonna be talking about what happened today. All right, what happened today? Good news for all South Africans, and I hope that you guys are going to take this as a very good thing for us to do, and you're not gonna be doing it, anymore. First and foremost, I want to talk about the mask thing. The masks are gone. Meaning, if they say the masks are gone, means that the masks are gone. We are no longer going to be wearing masks. We are not required by any law to wear any mask anymore. So I want to talk about this thing deep so that people maybe can understand what this thing exactly means. First and foremost, no law at this moment requires to wear a mask. Okay, so you don't have to be wearing a mask in any shape or form. They say today it's up to us now to take it over and do this on our own. So you're not required to wear a mask. You're not required by anybody to wear a mask. Marano, one thing that actually makes me doubt our government sometimes whenever they do things, they are trying to still want to rule us covertly, in a sense of trying to control us secretly. And I'll tell you why I'm saying so. First and foremost, you cannot say there's no more mask mandate, right? But it will be up to the institution to say, do they want masks or not? It's wrong. Now you're giving people more power to oppress other people more when it's not even necessary. So I'm saying to people right now, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. You are not supposed. There is no law that you are breaking if you're not wearing a mask. If you come to a shop and a security guard looks at you and like, where's your mask? Almost on Emirates, there is no more mask worn anyway. These things does not stop anything. This doesn't protect anything. Okay, it does not protect anything, but at least now they've seen the light and you're actually done and you are fine with these masks. So masks are gone. No more masks, don't wear them anymore. Just be free. You know what? Be free to breathe the fresh air again. Be free to breathe oxygen. Be free just to go out. And I've seen people wearing these things still. And I wonder, guys, after slavery, you are still taken out of Egypt. You still want to continue back to Egypt. What is wrong with us? When the masks are out, they are out. Okay? Don't wear them anymore. You don't need to wear them anymore. And no company, no one should be enforcing a mask because of their own. That's why today, when Joe Phalaphala was doing this press conference in the morning, I was watching him. This journalist said, you know what, you are confusing us, guys. You are confusing us because now we don't know if you're saying, as government, you don't require this as mandatory, to be mandatory to wear a mask. But you are saying it's up to institutions and companies to enforce their own regulation. What are you really trying to say? Because now you're confusing people. Do we wear masks? Don't we wear masks? So now I'm saying to you now, today, stop wearing your masks. Breathe fresh oxygen, okay? Get out there, enjoy your life. The state of disaster is gone, no more regulations. It's not up to Spare to now enforce the regulations and say wear a mask inside. You tell them there is no law that requires me to do that. There is no cop that will come and try to arrest me from doing that. But one thing which I wanted to actually to emphasize more on is this thing what the government does sometimes, like the tone that they use whenever they speak. They always want to be on the fence. But now go on the fence so people mustn't really say no, government is said. Because it's either we don't do something or we do it. It's not a matter of it's up to me or up to the institution to say I'm gonna do this or not. Like I said, no more masks, we're done. Thank God. Let me just have some little applause. Who is that thing? No more masks, we are gone. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Now we can live our lives in peace and be able to enjoy ourselves, whether outside or inside. We are done. All right. The other issue I wanted to talk about, guys, tonight is the issue, the fourth volume of the Zondo Commission being dropped on our shores, being given to the president. You know what? I've mentioned in my previous podcast that You know, I don't like this thing of this cozy relationship between Zondo and the president of the country. That actually is actually saying to us, Corey, we do not have an independent judiciary, because now we have this president that has been, I mean, this chief justice that has been asking for all these extensions all along, and then all of a sudden, for the fourth last episode, or whatever that this volume of the Zondo Commission, he asked the president, when can I be able to drop it? Which is not good, because the courts are the only thing that are supposed to tell him what to do, when, and how. So for me, the question is, are we having a very independent judiciary, or do we just have a deployee of President Ramaphosa who's going to be a gatekeeper for him in this whole thing? It's up to you. You decide, because now the extensions were granted, whatever, blah, blah, and then all of a sudden there was this big fanfare that was being done, handing over the fourth and last volume of this thing and whatnot, and it's not a problem that it's there and it has been given to him and whatever, but my problem is this thing between the two of them, this relationship that they have. I don't like it. I'm not very comfortable with it, because it's so cozy. It's not nice. That means Ramaphosa will actually get away with a lot of things because the chief justice is his friend. Like I mentioned in my previous podcast as well, I said something like, whatever Ramaphosa, Zondo said something like, actually, ANC people saved us when they elected President Ramaphosa. And that for me is a bit problematic to hear from a chief justice saying such a thing. Because what it says to me, it says, you know what, now we have an ally in the judiciary. We have someone who's going to be looking out for me in the judiciary, so I will never I'm going to get my own protection in the judiciary. So, kids, we don't like to what you think, guys, but it's up to you not to think on money. Is it me overthinking things, or me overthinking stuff all over again and whatnot? But it's really, for me, it doesn't really sit well to hear such a thing from a chief justice saying ANC saved us when they elected Ramaphosa. That means he's partisan, and that means he's got his favorite, and we cannot have that. But anyhow, the state capture report was dropped today, and it's got people like Tulma Donzela talking again, and you know, the funny part, she speaks now, but the phalaphala farm gate, she's not saying anything about it. It's so nice to hear her opinion about now what should the government do. But we are having a huge elephant in the room of a president that stuffs $4 million in his bed, mattress, and his sofas, and the 4-point protector, who's supposed to be impartial, doesn't even say anything about it. But she actually comments today about this thing. I want to look for the tweet now, and I'm going to read it for you guys, and we can be able to understand where I'm coming from. And you let me know if am I wrong to actually point this thing out, because for me, really, it doesn't really sit well with me to have people like Tulma Donzela still talking too much and still trying to be relevant, whereas they are not relevant. They've done their part, and they've actually done what they've done. And I will say to them, let us just give us a chance to actually get out there and live our lives the way we're supposed to live it, and you leave us alone because you have done your part. You have done the damage that you've done. It's fine. You know, you have done it. It's okay. And then the other thing I wanted to actually discuss today, guys, it's this thing of phalaphala, and the $4 million and the $4 million. I don't know how are we so desensitized in South Africa that we cannot even have, we don't see what's wrong. You know, yesterday I called Power FM, Denzel Taylor's show, and I was like, you know, Denzel, I saw this tweet saying, if an officer will steal a car, we will arrest the owner for negligence. That's just how this whole thing is coming. If an officer will steal a car now, we'll arrest the owner of the car for negligence, saying you were negligent to leave your car there for him to steal. We don't arrest the thief, we arrest the owner. That's just how desensitized, sorry, we have been in South Africa. I don't know what Regiling, or maybe around personally I has thrown too much. I don't know want you always say that way. Somebody has his witch doctor is very powerful. Because now South Africans are just sitting there and like just watching and seeing, you know, like looking at these things and like nothing is being done. The height of COVID 2020, that's when this whole thing happened. The guy had $4 million in his house, and that was the same year that he actually cut off other people from about retrenchment from his farm, saying that he doesn't have any money anymore because COVID has dealt a blow on him. But he had $4 million, 65 or 60 million rands in his house. Do we really still call this person a leader? Do we still call this person a president? Do we still call him what's best? He knows what's best for us. Do we do that? Or are we just sitting there and just hoping that one day, or are we saying he's the best thing we ever had in this country? Are we saying that he's actually the best thing that we ever had? We can't actually have any other choice, you know? Because for me, it's like we are being held ransom by something that we don't have any control over, and it's wrong for us to have something like that. And for me, really, I'm saying, guys, we need to do something about this. Something needs to be done, and something needs to be done very fast, you know. So I'm gonna look for that tweet now, and then I will read it out loud. Then you will hear what Tulma Donzela was saying about this state capture thing, that it was released, and you will hear what they said. And you are free to comment, by the way, ne? You are free to comment, and you are free to comment and to disagree with me, because it's not like what I say it's written in stone. It's not. But I'm just saying what is my opinion, and it's up to you as well to actually voice your own opinion and say, but this is not what I think. What I think is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ne? You know what actually caught my mind today was what's this thing? What is that thing? What actually caught my mind today, and I'm gonna go back to the government of South Africa. Our government needs to have a standpoint. It needs to have a standpoint where it says, okay, this is what we do, and we stand by this. You know, I saw this interesting tweet again today saying, just when they drop the monkey, they drop the masks now, monkeypox, we have one case, and now they're saying it's flu-like thing and blah 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 blah. Imagine. it's a flu-like thing. That means people will actually want to wear masks now because of this thing. But you know what, for that's just one of those things. I don't even want to entertain them that much, because it's only one case, and that person, maybe he was caught up Kanako and he's in quarantine wherever he is, and he'll be fine. But you know what, one thing again that actually I want you to really dissect about the phalaphala farm is that last week they had an auction. They had an auction, and that auction went forward regardless of what's happening as a cloud over the president. They had that auction, and that auction went forward, and the media was not allowed inside, blah blah. You know, I don't know why, because I thought this was a free country where people can be able to get access to news and whatnot, and they won't be stopped. But the media was stopped outside. They couldn't go inside the farm to see what was happening, and yeah, whatever. And then the media was only reporting what they see and everything. But my question again is that why are we doing that to ourselves? You know, why are we doing this to ourselves in a sense of, I mean, a whole president, how do you show leadership? How do you show leadership? That is the question. How do you show leadership? You are having this thing over your head. The best thing you can do for yourself is this. One, guys, let me just step aside for a little while. When you guys are continuing with this thing, let me just step aside a little while, sit there and then let the law enforcement agencies do this thing without being interference from me. Instead, what he says is, if he steps aside, he's going to interfere. People are going to think, oh, now he's interfering with investigation. How will he do that? That is the question. How will he do that? How will he be stepping aside? I mean, Bona, in a workplace, when you are suspended and they are going to investigate you, they are not going to say, come to work every day. We want to see you still come to work. No, you're going to go home during your suspension when they do all investigations, because you might contaminate or you might interfere. But when you're home, there's no way you can come to the office and interfere. So now, imagine, he's a head of state, President Ramaphosa. He's a head of the judiciary. I mean, he's a head of the security forces of the country, the police. He appoints the NPA head. He appoints all these big people. The Minister of Police reports to him. The Minister of Defense reports to him. But then, how can they investigate him without any hindrance? How can they do that? How can they investigate him without any hindrance? They can't. That is why they asked him to step aside a little bit, just to let these things happen. Captain Zuma, he was told to go. Court instructed him against the law to let a judge appoint another judge for this so-called commission that just ended. Costing us R1 billion, by the way, just to add it on. But no one is asking him to say, hey, Moren, just step aside a little bit, let these people do their job. Freely, without any interference from you, without any fear, without any, I mean, Malema said it, or how can a police person investigate his boss, who is still in office, by the way? So if this guy was actually a leader, seriously a leader, this guy should be saying, okay guys, for all transparencies, let me just step aside a little bit and then let you guys do your job, and then one day when everything is done, I'll come back. I mean, I'm innocent. There's nothing I'm hiding. So why not just go out and sit there and let you guys do your job freely without any interference, without any fear, or I might do something and I might whatever. But no, not this one. And your media as well is not saying anything to him. It's not asking him a relevant question to say, hey, Daddy, why can't you just step aside? Step aside, let people do their job. If there's nothing that you're going to find in your farm or find against you, then you come back to work. Simple. And life goes on. Our country is going down the tubes. And it's going down, it's been ruined because I don't know what are we trying to save. What is it that we have eaten that is making us sleep so much? What's wrong with us? You should see his defenders on Twitter, you laugh. Like you laugh. People just saying nonsense. Today, I'm looking at this thing. I'm looking at other Twitter pages, and what I see is this account error. I don't know if that's a bot or what, but he's always talking nonsense. What he said today was, imagine a man, he's implying something like, Ramaphosa didn't hire Brian Molefe, but he did. He said it in the commission that yes, I did. But he wants to tell us that no, Ramaphosa didn't hire Molefe, but he did. He said it. It's just people just throwing random things and trying to diffuse us and trying to take us out from it. I'm like, yeah, man. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe some guys, we I don't know what we still trying to hide or trying to protect this person for, because at the end of the day, we are in deep trouble ourselves as South Africans. We are in deep trouble as South Africans, and there's nothing we can do to actually stop this whole thing. But at the end of the day, it's up to us as South Africans to say enough is enough. Still on the phalaphala farm. He said he wasn't home when the break-in happened. He wasn't home, and he didn't know what was happening, blah blah, all those things. But he knows that the amount said that That would be the question. The number two question would be, why did he report it to the head of the bodyguards, not the police? That if he didn't know and if he wasn't there, then how did he report it to his bodyguard and say, listen, the case this has happened to my house, blah, blah, and the guy went to Namibia to look for those people, covertly. Covertly means undercover. They didn't really go through the proper channels. And after finding those people, they were never brought to book. They were actually bribed and told to keep quiet about that robbery. They were kidnapped, they were put in, they were interrogated, and they were given money to keep quiet. If there's nothing untoward or there's nothing wrong of what's happening, why was that followed? Why was that done? These are the questions that our media in this country should be asking. The media of this country should be asking those kind of questions. Instead of, they don't do that. They just want to go around this whole thing of phalaphala as if it never happened. Now they are pushing. Yesterday I was watching in my office. I'm watching even today. I'm watching the analysis being done. About the fourth volume of state capture. I'm like, why can't they do the same thing about phalaphala? Why can't they do the same thing about phalaphala? Why can't they make noise like that, ka phalaphala? Instead, they're making noise ka state capture, which he said it's going to take 4 years for him to tell us what must be done. But we are talking about what happened today. Today, what happened now? Like, okay, 2 years ago, 2020, but which actually has broken a lot of acts in this country. That's why I'm asking myself, what happened to us as South Africans? What happened to us as South Africans, and why are we still letting this whole thing continue like this as if we don't know what to do anymore? The man is a state president, okay? He's supposed to be our defender. He's supposed to be our father in a way. He's supposed to be the one who's supposed to be there for us, and he's supposed to be, he's supposed to be a beacon of remember hey, I'm gonna be a clean room to sweep. But then he is actually the most dirtiest broom that you can ever use to sweep. We cannot have such a thing happening and then we just let it go like that and say it's fine, it's beautiful. No, life goes on, and people still defend him as if what he hasn't done nothing wrong. There is no way in heaven that he has done what he has done. People go to such an extent of saying it's his money anyway, so why should we care? Imagine. And I always ask the question, and no one should answer with this one. If it was Jacob Zuma, would you still say the same thing? That is the question right there. That is the question right there. Sorry. If it was Jacob Zuma, were you still going to say the same thing, that nobody is his money? Why should we care? It's not a matter of it is money. It's a matter of laws were broken when getting that money in this country. Oh, remote animal farm. Are we in an animal farm? Do we now have laws for others and laws for others? Or some animals are more equal than others? Do we have lions in here that are actually more equal than a buffalo? Oh shit, yeah, excuse the pun. Excuse the pun, yeah, the buffalo. Yeah, but like I was saying, do we now have lions and buffaloes, because, yeah, I get a buffalo yearly, that time, yeah. But I don't think we should actually let that happen in this country, guys. We are all equal before the law. We are all equal before the law, And one thing that actually is actually like getting to me somehow sometimes is this whole thing of like I said earlier, are there others that are more equal than others? Because I never tell that I remember, everybody was out there trying to restore that lady. She was taken to court for this, she was done this, she was done that. Pravin Gordhan is destroying ESCOM. ESCOM now, load shedding is back, by the way. It's back, load stage 2 now, I think. Because they saw the problem, I'm sure, so they're actually dealing with the problem, so the problem is being fixed. The problem was not us having load shedding, so they fixed that problem, and now load shedding is back. But Pravin Gordhan, the Minister of the SOEs, and all that, he's out there enjoying his life. No critique from the media, no outrage from the public about him not doing his job, all those things. There's nothing. But a lie was said, Yahori, people won't get their grants, and everybody lost their mind. The DA went to court, everybody did this, but they're now quiet. Speaking of the DA, I saw some interesting tweet as well this yesterday about them now all of a sudden asking the FBI to come investigate the phalaphala matter. Somebody said, these people actually trying to take an person off the hook, to exonerate him. In a sense of, if we say we give this to the FBI are going to come and do their own investigation, no, but there was nothing wrong there. And that's what the media will run with. So why can't our own local enforcement agencies do this thing? But the question still goes back to what I said earlier, Jorge, how can they do that? How can they do that when their boss is still in an office? How can they do it when their boss is still in the office? They can't. They can't, because you cannot investigate your own boss. This is your career. Like Malema said, you are a career policeman, you are a career advocate. You can never destroy your career about investigating a sitting president. So what I'm saying is, let's all stand up and say, guys, we need to stop this. We need to make sure the Maposa accounts and steps aside, and then they can be able to do their jobs well. Investigate this thing, because many laws were broken. $10,000 is what the limit should be for a foreign currency in this country. I don't know other countries. He had 4 million of that. It's a lot. 60 million rents, or 65 million rents, I don't know, around there. That's the first thing. Number two, that money was never declared to any bank, or let's say Reserve Bank itself. It is quiet as well. It was never declared there. That's rule number two. Number three, it was never banked in any South African bank within 30 days, like the FICA law requires. That money was hidden inside sofas and inside a mattress. That, for me, says money laundering. Nothing more, nothing less. We can't hide this thing anymore and say, no, it is money anyway, why should we care? We care because South Africans are suffering. But a man has $65 million in his house, cash. His own staff in ANC does not have salaries for months. They were not paid. They were even outside there protest. Imagine a whole ruling party, its own internal staff that makes ANC work cannot get paid, but the president has that $4 million in his house. So we cannot have that. But today I was not going to talk about this Ramaphosa thing, but it just comes to me because I wanted to really say, just to get it out of the way. Ne? Today, Pile was more about the masks and the mandates, and just to ask South Africans never to give their freedom away to anybody that's going to say, no, the government says we can decide. A company cannot decide for your health. That's point number one. A company or a shop can't decide on what you're supposed to dress. Much as now Spa says people can come in with pajamas, it's fine. But that is something else. But the Spa can never tell you to wear a mask. You have the right to ask them, Hore, based on what? Simple. Based on what exactly? If you are saying I must take off my mask, what is that based on? Ne? Which law says I can take off my mask? If there's a law that says I must take off a mask, show me which law is that and I will do it. It's fine, it's not a problem. So people must actually fall for this whole thing of saying, hey, what's going to happen, and there is no law now enforcing this. I've said it before, earlier. There is no law that is enforcing this thing. Alright? So now it's in your hands to make sure you're gonna stand up and say, this is not gonna happen in my name, and I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not gonna be forced by anybody. The same as vaccines. Telkom is now making people, is enforcing vaccines on people. I mean, I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked and appalled, Hori. How can a company decide what you put inside you? And the question would be, what are they basing their enforcement or mandate on? Because there is no law in this country mandating vaccines. Yet, I hope, there is no scientific study that will simply say this is why people must vaccinate themselves. So I don't know what Telkom is based their thing on. And last time I was speaking to Moya Habo, and she outlined that they will try to use the OHS code and OHS Act to force people to do that. But I encourage South Africans to go and read for yourselves. Don't let this thing happen to you just because. There is no law. The simple thing I can tell you that there is no law that says I must do this thing. So I'm not going to do it because no law requires me to do that. So I'm not going to do it for anyone. This is my body, this is my life. I'm not going to do what you're saying I must do with my body, unfortunately. So that is what I'm saying. South Africans must stop just complying with stuff. We mustn't do that. We must stop complying with stuff and just doing things for the sake of being done because it's fine, it's been done, what can you say? We mustn't do that. It's not supposed to be. This is your body, the only one you have. And if you're going to let Telkom or companies that are going to tell you what to do with it, you're going to destroy yourself. Go into internet, yourself, research, get more facts about yourself, and then take it from there. That's the best advice we can actually give out to people. Even though I'm worrying like this, I'm not good. My first oath was do no harm. I'm not going to give you something, take it is going to cause you harm in the name of science. I don't know where it comes from. They are now trying to approve vaccines for young kids. My kids will never go and do that thing, Shem, unfortunately. America, they had to stop it because they still say there is no data that supports that they should actually do it to kids. So they stopped it. Florida, the state of Florida says they're not going to do that. They're not going to procure any vaccines for their own children. And what happens after that? They will attack Florida, they will attack everybody and say he's a leftist and he's this and he's that, but he doesn't care. So no, that's not going to happen. So one thing I want to say, Glory, it's up to Rina to say this is not going to happen. It's enough. It is up to us to say this is enough. It's enough. But then if we don't stand up and say this is enough, they're going to get away with everything. They're going to still control us through companies by telling them it's up to them now to enforce the regulations. I mean, Phalaphala was saying that this morning, that it's up to companies to put their own regulations in place. It's wrong. You cannot say that. Because now you are saying to people you've got a blank check to say people must vaccinate and they must come inside your buildings with masks on and all those things. Whereas government says there's no regulation enforcing that. So I want to leave you with this and say, it's up to you to stand up and say, this is not going to happen. Now I'm not going to wear a mask anyway, and no one's going to tell me to wear it. I'm going to go to a shop and I'm going to not put that mask on my face. Because there is no law that says I must wear a mask. It is not about a right of admission reserved. There is no way, not about my health. About something else, yes, you can do that, but not about my health. Prove to me that I'm a danger to anyone by not wearing a mask. Show me that I'm a danger to you by not wearing a mask sitting next to you. Show me that I'm a danger to you by not vaccinating my body with a foreign substance, and then show me and then prove to me that, well, I am a danger to you. Then maybe we'll say something else. But if you cannot do that, then you have no right to come and stand before me and say to me, no, apara mask. Yeah, but for what? Give me a reason why should I wear a mask. At least on a before, because it's the regulations, there is no more regulations anymore. So why should I wear a mask? It's in your hands, like they said, to say enough is enough. You're gonna stop this thing. You're gonna stop this thing, enough is enough. Guys, you know what? Yeah, I just wanted to get that out of my chest a little bit and say, you know what, this is, yeah, that is, actually, I felt like, let me just say this out there, and maybe somebody will listen and somebody will take it, but like I said, it's really up to it. Or are we gonna do this, and I'm gonna continue doing this to ourselves, and I'm gonna really stand up and say enough. Guys, this is what on the street, and my name is Kostile Sehongwane, and I'm always happy to sit here and talk to you guys, and to give you and to tell you what you know, is in my heart, and to share it with you guys and say this is not going to happen. I just wanted to make an announcement. We are going to be doing a podcast on a daily basis, and we're going to be dividing the segments by weekdays, where Mondays will be politics, and Tuesday will be this, and then there'll be a sex segment, and there'll be a health segment, and then there'll be career segment where I'll be having some guests to come in the studio, and we can be able to discuss and help other people that they will, you know, and will be what I can encourage you is that send your comments and send your questions so that we can be able to talk about them here in this podcast. Our Twitter handle is @Sehongwane. That's my personal one. You can send your tweets there. And we say in chat today, the word on the street, it's word Sehongwane, @word Sehongwane. Sehongwane again, SEGONGOANE. So we'll be posting all these other links, all those social media platforms, and you can be able to access them there and listen to the podcast itself. And will be our Facebook page as well. We have opened up a Facebook page for the podcast. It's called Word on the Streets with Kostile Sehongwane. Please like and subscribe all those platforms, and we have opened a YouTube channel as I'm recording for YouTube channel as well. And the YouTube channel is called Word on the Street with Kostile Sehongwane. I've already uploaded some of the episodes I've done. I'm gonna upload this one as well tomorrow, and then you can comment, like, please subscribe, like, comment, and follow us in all those platforms. Spotify, our podcast is there every single time we do it, and Anchor FM is where we are as well. So if you can be able to get into Anchor FM and search for us, you'll find us there, and you'll find all the other podcasts there. But search for us, Billy, and then you follow us, and then you take it from there. This is Kostile Sehongwane, and this is Word on the Streets. The reason why I call this podcast Word on the Streets is that because we listen to what is being said on the streets, and we come and dissect it here. And we come and we talk about it, and we make sure we give relevant information out there to people. So guys, please like, subscribe, comment every time we are having any podcasts and we are having any discussion, and then help us grow. You know, it's a very small podcast, a very small studio like this one. Help us grow. Let us reach where we want to reach. It will be very nice to see us having a lot of subscribers and actually people listening to what we can offer. So thank you so very much for listening tonight. And I just want to say God bless us and God bless this country, and thank you so very much for being with us. And I'm looking forward to giving you all the other segments, and I'm looking forward for tomorrow. And I want to thank you again. Thank you. Cheers. Bye bye.